Hello, everyone. It's me, Captain Blueberry Buckaroo, aka Lancer737, and today we got a very crazy theory to talk about, and some facts and bits of lore to clarify things. Mainly, though, this is a special one. We're going to examine Dr. Wolf's theory about Sunny. Dr. Wolf is a very big voice within the fandom. Don't normally talk about him much, though, because he has a dark history, a very dark one. See, there was one time where my friend and I wanted to go to a Hasbro convention. It was going to have MLP there, which I was excited for, but I was excited for the other things. And then Dr. Wolf found out that we weren't going to go to a BronyCon. See, it's hard to talk about because his theory is important, but he has a dark side to him. And that's why I don't like even talking about him, but I have to get it off my chest. Yeah. He found out that we weren't going to be going to the BronyCon. We were going to talk about MLP theories. And he did not like that at all. It was a dark night, and we were going through the European countryside because most people do, especially at night, because why not? And he intercepted us. We were running through the woods and in the moors, and I had slipped and fell. We heard howling, but we didn't know it was him, Dr. Wolf, until it was too late. And he got my friend. It's like he's eating into him right now. It was horrible. Horrible. Dr. Wolf ate my friend because we wouldn't go to the Brony convention. It was the saddest day of my life. Until I got to the Hasbro convention, I was able to get a collection of MLP Magic the Gathering cards. And then it was like freaking awesome because how rare it is. I mean, yeah, I know I only have one best friend, but like there's only one set of Magic the Gathering My Little Pony cards. You know what I'm saying? You can always get another best friend some other time. I mean, it was traumatic. Yeah, it was traumatic. Anyway, putting aside all this traumatic stuff, let's go look at Dr. Wolf's theory and see if it holds up. So here it is. The moment we've been waiting for. Was Sunny's mother a unicorn? Now, this is an interesting video, and I will do some commentary on it. Let's see what Dr. Wolf has to say, and if it holds up. More so than the remains of my friend that he ate, because we didn't go to BrodyCon.
I have to admit, the first time I considered this idea, I immediately dismissed it. I mean, Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns weren't interacting with one another for who knows how many.
Notice he completely ignores the bat ponies. Why ignore the bat ponies? What did they ever do to you?
Years. It could be many decades, it could even be centuries. The very thought of Sunny's mother being a unicorn seems rather ludicrous at first glance. But this idea just kept coming back into my mind. And I began thinking about Argyle's research. Exactly how all of these artifacts ended up in his possession is really anyone's guess at this point.
Tomb robber, archaeologist, explorer, won a lucky lottery ticket, got featured in a very strange, obscure, put your name in the hat style random award competition. I had that happen once. I won a black dragon that way. It was really cool. An airplane full of artifacts fell right out of the sky right in front of him. He's like, you know what? That's strange. But I have an even crazier idea. How about I study unicorn archaeology items and magical items? Or, I mean, we could just go the simpler route, and he is an archaeologist, but we'll let him continue.
It's entirely possible that his family had been passing them down from generation to generation,
Very
which
true.
could also explain how Argyle seems to have knowledge of the main six when no one else seems to.
That I can't comment on, even though I'm commenting on it.
But there's also the possibility that before Sunny was born, Argyle himself had been traversing the world in search of these artifacts. clues about Equestria's ancient past which would help him to understand why the three pony races had separated from one another.
3. Dr. Wolf, 3. Let's see. Earth Pony, Pegasus, Unicorn, Bat Pony, Sea Pony, Hippogriff. Okay, maybe not a hippogriff, but sometimes they're referred to as sea ponies also. And then you also have other characters. Come on, Dr. Wolf, you're the leading expert in ponies. How could you forget them? How could everyone forget our favorite bat ponies, Echo and Nocturne? How could you do this?
He might have even been the first Earth pony to leave Maritime Bay since its founding. But having grown up with the very same propaganda that everyone else had been exposed to among the Earth ponies, would
Interesting point. I would like to point out that I looked a lot like the Pony of Shadows, so it could very well be that the ponies in this era are terrified at the Pony of Shadows, and because he has a horn, they attribute it to unicorns. You never know, or it could just flat out be it's like, it's a very scary shadow person, so obviously we'll attribute to the unicorns.
outlook that Phyllis did at some point in his youth? Would discovering these pieces of Equestria's past been the spark which showed him a new perspective on unicorns and Pegasi? Or
It was that, or, it was all the Lucky Charms.
was he not the only pony who had decided to leave their home to seek out understanding of the past? The very idea that not a single unicorn or Pegasus would have felt just as curious as Argyle seems to be a bit of a stretch. And wouldn't it have made a more interesting story if, instead of Argyle learning to put aside prejudices through reading ancient texts, he happened to meet a unicorn whilst out on his travels? Perhaps the two of them wanted to search out the same artifacts and needed to rely on one another to navigate some ancient traps, forming a bond through their struggles. And
Very
the reason
possible.
why I bring this up is not just because Argyle seems to be the only one who believed that unicorns and Pegasi weren't evil, but also because he seems to have an almost opposite color scheme compared to his daughter Sunny. But
It all
he
seems
does
random.
have a much closer color scheme to a particularly cheery unicorn. In fact, one of the pieces of early concept art showed that Argyle used to have a color scheme much closer to Sunny's. You have to wonder why they changed it.
It could be possible that he spray tans himself. All jokes aside, I don't think you can attribute the color schemes for a lot of the ponies for being who they're related to, because it does seem like that the colors can go all over the place. They can, not always, but they tend to. I mean, like, look at look at Twilight. Yeah, her hairstyle is the same as her mom's, but that's a hairstyle. Her cutie mark, is shared between her family, but everything else about her, not so much. But anyway, since we've reached the half point of this video, and I will continue reviewing it, I must feature this channel's new sponsors. Hey everyone, don't forget to check out Raid Shadow Legends, the newest game, some kind of game that is out on mobile and PC. You can fight for heroes, some of which you will really, really want, like Sir Chillin the Lucky. You'll try it with all your might and luck to win this character, but instead, you'll be getting Mr. Plinkett.
Coronavirus!
Fear his epic Macarena, and illnesses that you can spread to other enemy players, or even your own teammates.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Oh, I'm sorry. Touch your
Look
face!
how
You don't
terrified
have to
they
touch
are.
your face. I shouldn't rub my back for
You will
Oh,
rule the
no,
battlescape
no,
with
no,
Mr.
no,
Plinkett.
oh, God.
Rule the day with Mr. Plinkett.
Oh. Kill me!
Perhaps you're hoping for a more aggressive fighter like the Black Knight and his powerful weapons of dark justice. No, you're not going to win him ever. Instead, you're going to get this little demented munchkin known as Cozy Glow. What, not intimidating enough? Fine, we'll give you the adult version. Here's Cozy Glow. Hope you enjoy this instead of the Black Knight you've been trying to get for 2 years playing this game. Perhaps you're wanting to win someone more exotic, and you see the shards for whoever the heck this is. I don't even know. You're not going to win them anyway. You're going to win. Leafy is here. That's who you'll win. But don't worry, he actually has a bonus. If you have a lizard army, he grants you the power to hiss your enemies into oblivion. The cool characters that you will never win is not the only reason you should play. You should play this because it has a riveting campaign that is open-ended at the very end that will never be completed in any way, and so you'll play raids that you cannot win unless you've spent lots of money to get those characters that you will never get ever, ever, ever. So good luckish. Oh, and by the way, once you subscribe and join my clan in the game, which I have no idea what the clan is, and no one knows at this point in time, enter the code Hard News Network, and you'll get a very special promo error code just for you. Now back to Dr. Wolf and his theory video.
You have to wonder why they changed it. Now, that by itself really shouldn't mean much, because after all, there are tons of ponies in G5 that have similar looking color schemes to Argyle. But consider for...
And like I said before, you can't really use their skin and hair color as finite methods to tell if a character is related or not. But personally, I do think he looks better than he did in his conceptual art. And also, it seems like the orange and pink is overused. I haven't seen so many characters using that till now. It's for the best, really, that he's more like Twilight's dad, to be honest with you.
For a moment, how every other unicorn in Bridalwood had lost all passion for life, moping around in a daze at all times due to the loss of their magic. Except for Izzy. Now, why is it that she was able to keep her cheerful attitude when the rest of her village had become so discouraged?
Lots of sugar. True story. That's how Deadpool is always so cheerful.
It could certainly be because of the personality she was born with. Or, and I know this is a stretch which may only have a place in fan fiction if we're being honest here, but what if Izzy's father was Argyle? What if Sunny's mother was a unicorn? And knowing that every Earth pony would reject the presence of a unicorn foal, and every unicorn would have rejected the presence of an Earth pony foal, the decision had been made that they'd have to separate.
That's an okay theory, but the thing is, if they were mother and father and they were going to have children, I don't see why they just not get a cottage out in the wilderness like Fluttershy and just live on their own.
It is a radical idea, perhaps something that the MLP staff would never even consider. But for whatever reason, this idea just kept popping back in my mind. And you know what? I think I'd kind of enjoy a sort of parallel with the Royal Sisters from the Friendship is Magic series. Sunny, Star Scout, taking on the role of Celestia, and Izzy Moonbow taking on the role of Luna. Anyone out there in the...
I'm not too wild about that myself. I feel like if Luna and Celestia are not the ones that are moving the sun and the moon, then they should just have the sun and the moon be, moving on its own as normal. I don't think we need two characters that like those two. And I don't mind them. It's just I don't think it would work out too well, especially with them just getting into it at this point in time. I mean, I guess you can make an argument that when they become alicorns, they'll learn how to properly move the sun and moon. But I don't know. Maybe he's not being too literal about that. Maybe he only means the dynamics, but not the literal roles of Luna and Celestia. In that case, I guess I wouldn't mind too much.
Fan fiction community who'd be interested in running with this idea in a story?
Running with this idea, kind of like how you ran us down, Dr. Wolf, and you ate my friend because we didn't go to BronyCon. How many of the fan fiction communities left after your ravenous nocturnal appetites and ravenous activities, Dr. Wolf? How many?
In the meantime, though, I'd very much like to hear from each of you. Do any of these elements seem possible for G5? Or are they just too fantastical for the series?
It's possible. I'll give you that. It's possible, but there is just a few parts of that that I think are a bit too stretchy. That being said, the show has gone with some stretchiness in the past, but yeah, this could be true. What you've said, your theory, it could be true. But I think it would just be easier if, like I said, those two were going to have children from a different pony race and they felt so terrified of it. They just would have gone off on their own, like Fluttershy did, and just have children in their own, care and just live as hermits or something like that. Maybe go to other places. There has to be other places, just like in G4. At least I hope so. Man, what happened to the world if there's only one unicorn city, a gigantic city, I hope, but that's all where the unicorns are, and so on and so forth. But the real question here is, why did you forget the bat ponies? I'm not going to let you go with that ever. I'm not going to let that down. Why did you in the show ignore the bat ponies? You guys are evil. You're just so evil. You hate my friend, and I'm never going to let anyone forget that. Ever. The truth is out there, like Fox Mulder would say. And I'm pretty sure you eat foxes too, don't you, Dr. Wolf? Anyway, theory's not bad. There's not really much more to say about this. I like that view much more. Talking about this earlier, though. Other theories about things going on. And I got an interesting response about Cozy Glow. And I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one that thinks that Cozy Glow is not really that great of a villain. But again, I would love to hear from all of you. What do you think about Cozy Glow? Would you want to see her in G5? And actually, now that I think about it, after seeing my sponsor video from Raid Shadow Legends, what if Cozy Glow showed up in G5, but it wasn't the filly version of her? What if it was an adult, psychotically angry version of her that show up? And maybe the alicorn magic has to be sapped from her to make one or more characters in G5 have alicorn powers. The only way to stop her is the same thing, same mechanism that took the world's magic away from all the all the pony creatures and all their subgroups. Oh, and I forgot changelings. Changelings are a pony. I doubt that's going to happen, but hey, G5, sky's the limit, although I'm still wary about what I'm seeing. The only thing that's got me excited now is the prospect of Sombra coming in, but that could just be a mirage, a shadowy mirage, just like this may be a pony theory. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very radically different version of a pony video I made. Everything in here was parody, even the advertisement. I'm pretty sure you got that, and I have nothing against Dr. Wolf. I hope you all got a laugh out of this. If not, if you were traumatized, I'm very sorry. Anyway, I'm going to be visiting more people in Equestria tomorrow. Peace out, everyone. Have a good night.